What's up, y'all? Shuffle, and this is just a quick video to talk about the cat pet that came out with the recent update. A couple of people asked about a guide and all that for it, but I don't think the pet's that complicated to warrant it, but just to show you it exists and to explain it, then we have this quick little video. So, the Purloiner Felid. In some universe, in my own headcanon, I would like to think that they based this off my cats. I know they probably didn't. But there goes the rest of my ego for this segment here. But anyway, cat pet, very cute, very interesting, because a lot of the other pets are very specialized. So it's like, wolf cub, you need luxury gear. Usually you want that. You know, Pliskin, medical gear, owlet, tinker gear, rabbit, food gear and food, slime, road gear, scouting gear for the chick. Carrion eater doesn't really need any gear support. Neither does the crocodilian. Neither does the tick. And Shambler wants you to go fight cultists. So a lot of them have very restrictive conditions on wagon items. You know, so we have tinker gear here, food gear if I want to do rabbit, you know, and so on. But the interesting thing about the cat is that the cat doesn't force you into food or whatever. It doesn't force you into any specific gear. Instead, it wants you to get an assortment, which is kind of what a lot of runs end up looking like. You may get one or two of the desired category, but then, you know, you're going to end up having a couple things that don't match what you're going for. Like you most likely won't find 4 luxury gear or 4 food gear. You know, you might have other stuff, especially if it's something like really good, like a say gear. You know, if you're not running the owl, this is still an amazing piece of stagecoach equipment. So it's like, you know, I'll sacrifice a food slot to have something like this, for example. Cool part about the cat is you're not really restricted to that. So your runs are going to feel a little more natural. If you have food gear equipped and use cat food, so you have to use this combat item to trigger any of these. You have food gear, you get dot res for 3 turns. If you have Tinker's gear, you get 1 positive token by using cat food. If you have medical gear, you have regeneration of 2, so you heal 2 per tick for 3 turns, so that's 6 total. Scouting's an interesting one because you get 15 flames, so it's kind of like a glimmer of hope, you know? Just right here, this is 15 flame, but then this is using an item. You can simulate the same thing. If you have road gear, then using the cat food will give you a token, which the cat food is a combat item, so kind of an odd one, but it does make sense since it is road gear. And finally, if you have luxury gear, it's a 1-point stress heal. Also, very thankful to whoever formatted the tooltip to make it just descend into smaller and smaller stuff. It's just aesthetically pleasing. I don't know why. It just looks nice. With that in mind, cat food. Combat item. You can have up to 4 in a stack. Just bought it to double check there. You have a chance of bleeding yourself by using it for, you know, 5% chance for 1x3. Totally fine. And you use this and it procs all these effects. The thing to keep in mind with the cat food is, as you saw there, they cost 6 gold each. So you're starting to look right here, you know, which of these are worth 6 gold. The effects also don't stack. You can't have like 4 food gears and get 80% dot res, right? So having cat food cost 6 is not the necessarily best thing, you know, long term, because you might need to buy other stuff like food, you know, just items, provisions, all that. However, the nice part is, since it can proc multiple things at one time, the more of this stuff you have, you know, obviously the better it gets. So probably don't want to use too much cat food early. This is probably something that you get and save. Unless you're in dire need of using one of the effects right then, I would probably save this for like Region 2, Region 3, the mountain, or if you're in Kingdoms, you know, just later on in the game. You cannot buy cat food if you don't have the cat, so it's not going to sit there and just take space. Out of these, the cat, which effects do we like the most? I mean, they're all pretty good, but I would say the winners out of these are the medical gear. The luxury gear can be really good. The food gear is pretty good. And maybe scouting. So if I had to rate these, I would say medical gear top, luxury and food are kind of the same. You know, they're relatively equal, so like tied for second. And then flame is pretty good, but definitely a distant third/4. And road gear and tinker gear are really just kind of fighting for the bottom, because one positive token, you know, like sometimes you don't even need to use the positive token, right? Like if you have someone in rank 4 that's not getting hit and you get a dodge token, it's like, does that matter too much? Probably not. And the other thing too is you don't have a lot of control over that, right? So I guess it kind of makes sense that with the Tinker's Gear, since the effect is, or it has the most variance, it's the least useful because it's the least dependable. Also doesn't help that most Tinker Gear isn't that good outside of a Say Gear. A lot of them are just item production. Not to say that it's bad. Not the thing that most people are usually fighting to get, because a lot of the other stuff is just more consistent and reliable. However, if you are combining stuff, you know, like obviously a heal, you know, some kind of regeneration plus a token, that's pretty good. Getting dot resistance plus a token, pretty good, right? So the more stuff you combine, obviously the better this gets. So I don't really want to use this cat food unless I'm getting like 2, 3, even 4 things, unless I desperately need whatever that is right then. You have to go around, you have to go buy cat food consistently, and it can be kind of a cash sink, so definitely be conservative with that. But otherwise, the pet's fun. It's a fun pet, it's cool, it's an interesting set of effects where I think it's something different, so it's not something we've seen before in terms of what the other pets do. Like, they don't have... The only other thing that has a combat item associated with it is the tick, which you have to get that by killing stuff. Where the cat, you buy it, and then, you know, you get to kind of make your own combat item. I guess that's the best way to say it, is for 6 gold and X amount of baubles or loot or whatever, you know, depending on what your wagon has, you can make your own interesting combat item that stacks to 4. So I would say the cat is really good if you find the other stuff for it. So it's kind of hard to say overall, like, oh, it's amazing. It's definitely not bad, but, you know, it's not like... It's something... It doesn't do stuff if you don't have the other things to help it. Like, you're not really getting anything out of this immediately. Whereas the Wolf Cub, you always get the positive relationship chance. That, like, that's okay on its own. The Pliskin, you heal after each location. That's good on its own. The Tick, that's good on its own. You know, some of these other ones, like the Shrieker, 2 crit, extra baubles looted, that's actually pretty good. So a lot of them usually have some kind of other side to it, where if you don't find the necessary gear, at least it's providing something else. Whereas the cat is not. The cat is saying, you need to find these items, yeah, I have to be equipped, and you have to have cat food, and you have to keep buying it if you want to keep using it. So it's kind of it's a very demanding pet, but the effects are good. So is it the worst pet? No. Is it the best pet? No. Honestly, a lot of the pets are pretty close in power level right now, so Rabbit kind of went to be the clear favorite with Ordainment losing speed, but I mean, it was already the best, but now it's like unquestionable. Alright, so I want to make this video quick. Try the cat if you haven't. It's really fun, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.